streaming. Let's see
I did.
if it goes. We will find out. Ladies and gentlemen, 4:02 p.m. and we are live with Kelly and Paige of McRey Moto. How we doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty darn good, and we're excited to have these people, these beautiful young entrepreneurs in our studio today. But
you call them people.
Beautiful young people. I'm gender neutral. I have to.
You'd be right either way.
But before we get started with that, if you didn't catch our drop from yesterday with Aaron Baker, it's the second part of the series. Incredible. I mean, to watch this guy wheel this trike around, show him his hometown, watch his family, engage with him and all the work he has to do just to get up and go every day. It's just amazing. And there'll be a couple more drops with him. I think this next one's really going to show some of the great interviews at the Bixby Bridge and some other things like that are just going to be very exciting and inspirational. So check it out.
Inspirational, badass. He's a badass rider. He's got a great attitude when he's on his bike, just smiling around. So check it out and watch it to the end. Because if you don't watch it to the end, I'm going to find your email address and I'm going to fire you guys because you missed the whole show. So stay tuned when you tune in and watch it.
So before we get going,
a subscriber?
I am not a subscriber to 2LaneLIVE. I was fired.
Find your email.
Right.
I was fired already. So
What's up?
I was going to say before we get going, is this heads?
Yes.
Okay, we got to do a coin flip for the mystery beer that they brought in. So anyway, heads or tails?
I'm going to take heads.
All right. Tails.
Oh, so you get the mystery beer.
I get the mystery
You're going to
beer.
have to walk that other beer over.
I'm really curious to know what the beer is.
I know.
why is it not
Don't tell me yet. I'm going to guess. Did you click on it?
It's not showing.
Unless you want us to click on the Live Fast rally.
Well, luckily we got people watching, so I know it's at least somewhat live.
Refresh it.
Let me see if I can tell what this beer is.
Ooh. We'll sniff. Taste.
IPA for sure. Double IPA.
Oh, is it dark?
It's pretty dark.
Is it a stout?
No, it's an IPA. Definitely a double.
I don't know. I thought it was. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a stout.
No, this is good. Whatever it is, it's good. I dig it.
There we go.
Anyway.
No, that's yesterday.
Who are you and what do you do?
Who? Us?
The elevator pitch.
Oh.
Let's hear it.
I was like, oh, the beer or actually us. So my name's Paige.
My name's Kelly.
Or Kim.
Inside joke. Inside joke.
Sorry. And we are the McRae sisters. So we started McRae just about a year ago, making women's motocross apparel and off-road gear.
Real quick,
yeah.
you're going to want to hear this. Richard Brooks says, hello, Teresa and Laura. Looks like we have a little bit of a mix-up here.
Who's Teresa?
That would be
their
our
wives.
wives.
Oh. Well, so it kind of reminds us of a funny story. We were at the Mid 400, and it was pretty late in the night after one of the days, and
We're at the good old casino bar.
yeah, and this guy comes up to us and just starts calling us random names, and we were like, sure, I can be, what was it, like,
Done at the Tarantula Brewery. I guess it was in Thousand Oaks. That's not us.
I know this. This
yep.
team.
And it was really cool. These two were set up next to the thrashing booth, and I sauntered over there because I wanted to know who ran this brand, what does the brand do, and lo and behold, met these two wonderful people working in the booth. Why did you start this company?
It started as a selfish need to replace a jersey that I ripped. And so really, and through that process, got really frustrated with trying to find a jersey to match my pants or just replace the old jersey I had, couldn't find anything. And then from there was like, okay, well now if I buy a new jersey, if I want to look not like a total idiot, I have to buy a new pair of pants as well. And then not being able to find anything that I genuinely liked. So searching through all of the major competitors and their websites and just really not being attracted or excited about anything. And so we were living together at the time and kind of just started brainstorming, you know, what would our dream jersey look like? And this was actually the jersey that I'm wearing is the first sketch that we ever did.
Okay.
So this was the dream jersey that we designed, and from there we realized we might be able to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we might have something here, and from there, it starting a business, very easy. If once you have the idea, I feel like that part, all that, the name, the slogan, that all came super easy to us. We hired a brand developer within 2 weeks. Now, the running the business part, a little bit harder.
Yeah, that takes a little more effort,
the one
right?
that will make you feel like a complete mess all the time, but you know.
Well, and part of it was also the fit, right?
Yeah, and so from there, you know, started to realize there's more, because we've grown up riding with a lot of men. I don't think we realized how much of a need there was for women's gear, especially in off-roading and motocross. And so as we started to do more research and talk to more women, we realized that there is a desire to have attractive, feminine apparel gear that also fits and is tailored towards a woman's body. And so it has, what started as a selfish need, selfish build, has turned into a brand that we hope will inspire and empower more women to get involved in not just off-road, but anything, any extreme sport, anything that you want to get into. Obviously, we're starting with this sport, but...
Well, I mean, we were talking too. I mean, there's nothing but unlimited potential for you if you keep that focus and, and that drive and desire. Because I spent like 30 years in the financial services business working for people, or people working for me. I had great teams. I had great staff. And then two and a half years ago, we started this brand, and it's completely different. Now I have to rely on me and him, and he has to rely on me, and you two have to rely on each other. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that alone was, in the beginning, the business, as Paige is saying, that was, like, honestly not as difficult. Running the business is much more difficult, but we weren't always very close. Like, when we grew up, I wanted to be Paige.
Annoying little sister.
Yeah.
To a T.
Yes, like such a stereotypical dynamic between older and younger sister. Paige wanted nothing to do with me. I wanted everything to do with her. And it wasn't until Paige went off to college that we were like, kind of like miss each other. I have no one to torment anymore. I started getting into the, like, what is it? The part of life that...
She had her first taste of alcohol, and she was like, called me, help me. But she's like in high school, she's like, what do I do? And I'm like, all those years that you told on me got me in trouble, and now you want my help.
Yeah. So then after that, our relationship slowly started to build, but we're very different. Just even in our personalities, I'm definitely a lot more introverted. Paige is a lot more extroverted. The way that we work is very different. There's a lot of a lot of obstacles to work through in our personalities, and there was a lot of fights. There's a lot of really hard conversations that needed to be had that were brutally honest, but I'm really glad that we had those, even though they were tough in the beginning, because now we were just talking about in the car, I'm like, I can't even really remember the last time we fought. Anytime we have like a tiff, we ameliorate it like so quickly.
You have to work together, you have to compromise, and the best compromise is when both parties lose.
When?
You both have to lose a little bit if you're compromised.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But what you're not going to tell us your ages, but what is the age difference?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years, 4 grades.
Okay.
So we were always just missed each other from high school to college, etc. And we went to the same high school, we went to the same college, we were in the same sorority in college. We both lived in Orange County, both moved back up north, so yeah, we've kind of been attached
by the hip for a while now.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. No, it was intentionally on my part.
You have to have the idea. You have to have the energy. Then it takes money.
Yeah.
Then it takes drive. I mean, all this stuff to create this brand. You can't quit. Failure is not an option.
No.
You got to make it.
And we were kind of raised that way as well. I mean,
you ride dirt bikes.
Yeah, we ride dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And
our mom is definitely more of the traditional sportswoman, and our dad was more of the recreational, so we kind of got different types of commitment from both. So our mom was the one that drove us to every softball game, every soccer game. Our dad would come often, but just his work schedule is different, and They were like, you can do whatever you want. We don't care what you do, what sport, dance, activity. But if you do something, you're committing and you're giving it 100%. You're doing the full year. Like, you can't drop out. So our parents were always like very open. Like, they let us be whatever we wanted to be. But whatever we did, we had to give it 100%.
Right.
So we kind of look back now, and I'm sure there's some innateness to us not wanting to fail in that work ethic. But really, we have to give it to our parents for. There's nothing we've really truly failed at. Like, of course we've made mistakes and had failures, but we've never like fully given up on something. And
what's their names?
Keith and Gail, but our friends call them Chief and Big Kitty.
Yeah.
Well, Chief and Big Kitty, you did a good job.
And I think too, you know, this business, this company, brand, I think it's all the things started in a time where we were both doing some soul searching, and I was working a typical 9-to-5 corporate job. Kelly was applying to grad school, and I think for both of us, we knew that there was potentially something, at least for me, I guess I shouldn't speak for you, but I knew that there was something else. Like, I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't my end game. This isn't my career. And so started a wedding and event planning company, thought that was going to be my out, thought that was my dream. And then we started this company, and I guess I shouldn't say that maybe saying it was easy wasn't the right way, but because we're so passionate about it and because we believe in it so much, it felt easy for us. And so through that, we realized there's some things that we're going to have to give up. There's some other dreams and some other passions that either we give up or we're going to have to put on hold. And yeah, for me, you know, I was in my mid-20s, and all my friends are getting married and buying houses and having kids, and I'm like, I'm moving home, I'm quitting my job, like I'm pulling my 401k, and kind of just felt like I blew up my entire life to follow this. But we were literally just talking about this with friends the other day, that I've never been happier than where we're at right now. Even though life isn't what I planned it to be, pursuing our dream and our passion and doing something that we know impacts other people, and has the potential to make a really big difference. That means more than any 9-to-5, big salary, 401k corporate job.
And that's the energy.
That's where the energy comes in. Yeah.
Well, you can still have energy in the corporate job too. It's just a
different kind of energy.
I think it's I don't know. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think there's a certain group of people that just have it.
Yeah.
So like in corporate, you would get 80% of the results from 20% of the people.
Yeah.
And so those 20 you knew just always had it. They had a desire to succeed. Mm-hmm. And it's similar here. Businesses don't stand up. If you don't make it in the first 3 years, typically you're not going to make it. And those businesses that don't have the but
it's 1 year down, 2 to go.
That's right. But that's part of it. You're driving energy and passion. Like had his own business for 30 years. And so he's made his life being an entrepreneur as well. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't want to, just because I come out of the financial services business, I don't want to discount that there's still a passion in some of those people as well.
Sure.
No, totally.
It takes a very special type of person to run their own business, and that's where I think we say just in the sense that, like we say, starting a business, easy. Go get a business license from your city that you're working in, and file some documents.
File some docs.
You're good. The mental and emotional toll that it takes to run a business and try to grow a business.
That's the part.
That's the part, and who can prepare you for that? No one. I mean, we had no idea what the toll that would take on us, and our relationship and our friendships and everything else in life. But so I would say there's a certain type of person that can handle that, that can work through that and understand, even though people are telling you no, even though people are so quick to tell you what's wrong with your idea, you have to be strong enough to believe in yourself, listen to your gut. But back to the corporate and the entrepreneur, on both of those, there's winners and losers on both sides, and there's no guarantee on both sides. Yeah. So you can be an entrepreneur in the corporate world in your own
right.
Yeah.
But you can fail on both and win on
Absolutely.
both.
And some
No,
people
that's my
thrive.
point. And
Yeah,
if
there's
you
no
think about,
guarantee.
in some cases, I was running a $10 billion company. So it's not like, there's not pressure there.
Oh, there's pressure
So,
there.
but
There's
I just,
real pressure.
my point is, I think there's people like you, Josh, you guys, my kids, your kids, I think it's the parenting that goes on. I had very strong parents and similar values, and I hope that I pass that on to my kids as well. I think those are the people that are really, they strive to do the best they can at whatever and it's not, I'll just give a little bit. Let me try that, and quit attitude. That's not going to win anything. Mm-hmm. And so I think it again goes back. I wonder what your parents were like, because they raised
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, just our mom's dad was one of 9 in a very, very poor family, and he basically, rose to the top and helped take care of his siblings and became a very wealthy, successful, happy man.
Right.
And similar situation on our dad's side with his dad, and so you see that through our our aunts and uncles and our cousins, and just no one really has a quit mentality.
You get a lot out of a family that doesn't have a lot, and they eat together and they live together and they struggle together. You get some great people. I mean, we talk about going across this country and we meet the greatest people. And we always tell people, if you watch the news, you're not going to see what's really out there.
What's happening,
but we've talked about this before. People not working as much these days or not wanting to work. But in our circle, I mean, Josh is 25. We have these
24, 20. He wants to tell people he's.
We have these kids in the.
You say turning 25. That's what we would say.
No, he's 25.
26.
We have the kids in the corner that have a successful silkscreen printing company. My son with his business growing and growing, his kids that are involved in businesses that their lives are thriving. So I'm seeing, and I'm stoked to see all these young people doing a lot of the stuff that we did growing up.
Yeah, because that's not the narrative.
No, and there's hope.
I'll quit or I'll take the handout.
Yeah.
Well, and it's as sad as it is, there are a lot of people like that, and we run into them. I think we've
seen it at events where we're like, oh, this is just a very different mentality than it's even. I make fun of Paige particularly for being a lot like her dad.
Oh,
what were you gonna say?
I was like, make fun of me for what? Oh, yeah.
Being a lot like dad and being very like our dad particularly is very on it with following a certain strategy and plan when you come to things, and you come early and you check things, and Paige is very much like that, so I give her a hard time. But that's why we show up early, and we're up there set up, we're steaming things, like making it look good, and then we'll see other companies roll in like 10 minutes past start time, like slowly putting things together, and I was just like, oh my god, this gives me anxiety just watching. But it's not a negative view of them, it's just totally probably
just
different
who you are.
upbringings.
Yeah, it's just
totally.
who you are.
How old's your dad?
Well, he's about to turn. He's going to turn 60 this
year.
year.
So he's in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And
anywhere between 50 and 70 is our,
somewhere in that range.
Harley Davidson told us he's no longer there, but this was 2 years ago that they wanted to work with us, but it was we were their sage writers. So it's sage and a little bit more senior.
Wise.
Older and dustier.
Yeah.
Dustier.
I like to call
Creaky
it you're wiser.
So
more experience.
What's the significance of the butterfly?
Well, there's like 2 stories to that.
Well,
one. Yeah.
butterflies are free to fly away. Isn't that a song?
Butterfly, fly
Sure.
away.
Do you like it?
I like anything.
Oh.
On pins and needles.
Very well, fair. So I'll tell the first story. You can tell the second one. I feel like it fits our personalities. The first part of the story is that when we were working with our brand developer to come up with a logo, he asked us to send. So basically, what he did is he worked with us separately, and got all of our answers separate, and then brought them together.
Nice.
Because he was afraid that if we worked together, we would start influencing each other's decisions, compromising before we needed to, etc. So, he comes back with a bunch of different designs, and our McRae logo that has the motocross co underneath, that was after a couple months of work, we were like, we like that one. We're all on the phone together. We're like, we love it. So he's like, great, moving forward, that's your logo. Then we get off the phone. We're so annoying. We get off the phone, and I'm like, Kelly, I don't know if that's our logo. And she's like, I don't think that's our logo. And I'm like, why didn't we say something on the phone? So we go back to him, we're like, hey, great work. That's like second logo material. We want a new one. He's like, well, what do you want? So we send him a bunch of inspiration, and he comes back. And I guess I should say, before we even started working with him, we said we don't want anything too girly. And
because in the current industry, they're like, oh, we'll throw some stars or like butterflies or something on it, make it pink. It's for girls. And we're like, we want a lot more thoughtfulness to go into our designs.
Yeah, that. And I think at the time, which is not the case now, but at the time we didn't want to stand out. Our thought was like, we want to go into this and we want our brand to just kind of slide in and just fit, and it works, and we didn't want to scare people away. But I think as we continued to do the brand development process, we realized, who cares? Yeah, we want to stand out. We want people to see our logo and recognize us as the women's off-road motocross apparel company, and we wanted to stand out, and we stand out. We're all over the place.
We want to like what we like. We want to like what we like and put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
go with
we
your gut.
initially told him, like, no butterflies, no star. We literally said no butterflies, no stars, no polka dots, no flowers, no nothing. And so
all those things will be happening.
All the things that we designed around. So he came back to us after we sent him our new inspiration, and he goes, you guys realize that every design you guys sent over has butterflies in it, right? We're like,
suspicious.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So he came back to us with the orange and yellow butterfly that we have today. Another thing was we couldn't agree on colors. But I think the only reason for that was because my favorite color is pink, Kelly's is turquoise. But you see those
colors. You got them blended in there a little bit, don't you?
Not to like.
Yeah, they're just, I think, that's, you see, a lot of times you see pink and turquoise mesh together, specifically in this industry. Like, you see that being used a lot. And so, in the interest of not fitting in, as we're like, okay, 180 pivot, we want to do the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. Those colors just didn't make sense to us, but we didn't know what other colors we didn't know what other way to go. And so, yeah, we got this butterfly back, and it's got the rough, it's not a perfect butterfly. It has the rough edges, the brightness of the yellow and orange, and we both saw it and we're like, yeah,
that's us.
That's it. And we just feel like the butterfly is, it represents a transformation that people, especially I think young women, I mean anyone in general, but obviously we relate it to being young women, go through a transformation.
We were in our own cocoons when we first started this. We were in completely different branches of.
I was in my marketing cocoon.
Marketing. I was in my psych cocoon.
But there's a way that you'll come together, working together. I mean, the three of us can be sitting here, and let's say I think this would be really great if we did it this way. He'll go, and I may get like, hey. But then when you're all talking and thinking, going, you know what, that's a good idea. And then all of a sudden, by the time all three of us are done with the tornado, we've come up with this energy, and we have like, hey, we all dig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and men are a little different too, because we can say things to each other and we know that it doesn't hurt, and it hurts at the moment, but we can like hug for a minute and then we're past it. We don't
I thought you were saying you guys can kind of like give it to each other. I'm
well,
like, I don't know.
But the difference is for you guys,
you give it to a worse.
You're sisters, and so, but we're just... It helps to have a couple heads in the game to collaborate on the game plan.
They always said don't do business with family and friends, but it can work. It can work, and I've done it.
Yeah, it's we recognize that, and that's something that we're very conscientious of, and we've always said that our relationship will always come first. So if at any point during this process our relationship is going to be compromised by the business, we will let go of the business.
Well, I said that to him too. We've been friends for 30 years.
That's a load of crap from all of us.
You know what? You know what? That's
You're
bullshit.
You're out.
We're
You're
done.
out.
We're going to try. We're going to try. No, I mean, we've...
So we're firing him next week.
I thought it was already fired.
We were supposed to tell him.
Sales.
Well, we brought extra beer.
As cliche as it is, like, our differences really do balance each other out.
For sure.
You feel that in your own dynamic, and like if there was 2 of me or 2 of her, it wouldn't be the same.
Disaster.
So yeah, but I feel like sometimes there are things where I'm like really passionate about something and I say it, and Paige's like, we gotta, because I'm definitely much more like I will get into my fields. I'm very in depth. I was a psych major. I was going to grad school for like psychology, so I will be like in the nitty gritty. Paige like, okay,
and I'm just like, no. She gets really excited. I'm like, no.
But there are going to be times in your business where maybe your idea that you love and maybe you're not fully into it, but at a point you go, you know what, run with it, and then you run with the same thing on your side. You know, there's that give and take.
Which is what happened. Our butterfly jersey, I didn't like.
Where's the butterfly jersey?
Yeah, this was one of like my sketches.
Which I love it. So what we decided to do was have four designs, and 2 would kind of be like mine and 2 would be hers, and which I love it now. I think it's awesome. But at the time, wait, turn it that way. No, the other way. We can show it to them too.
Hold on. He's
got it.
Yeah, that's
it's
awesome.
Just delayed there.
I dig it.
But yeah, moments like that where she showed me the sketch and I was like, I don't get it. I don't relate. I wouldn't wear it. But if that's something that you love and you're passionate about and you think it's going to do well and other people are going to like it, then do it.
I mean, that one's good. I like all of them.
Thank you. Know? Yeah. So, that's definitely something that we've had to work on, and there's also a big sister, little sister dynamic. I'm a very, very big personality and very opinionated, and
no,
I know, shocking. And I also have a certain level of, that corporate marketing experience that Kelly's just doesn't have, and so there, especially in the beginning, it took a lot of. I don't just going back to those hard conversations, and I had to take a step back and realize that I don't know everything, and it's okay that I don't, and it's also okay to let her learn through trial and error. And I think that was really hard because me being younger and working in a corporate office, like, it's not my money, it's not my passion, so if I made a mistake, I was like, man, sorry. My bad. Okay.
I'm going to the lake this weekend.
Yeah,
see you later.
It's Friday though. So
well, but it's a big adjustment for us as well. Like, I come out of a very structured. He's more of the artist. He's sign painter. He does birthday cards. He's, and he's more of a free thinker, where I'm a little bit more structured, and we had to learn the same, and we still have it. Occasionally, but
both pieces are good for that puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's. I think it makes for a healthy.
What's really a
organization
is when we come together on a design on a shirt or a hat or something, and we're like, all 3 of us are like, "This is so great," and you launch it online, and you're like, "Guy, it's not selling that good." You're like, "We dig it. What's going on here?"
But with the 3 of us talking about stuff, just like you said, like trial and error. You know what? I'm going to let her take that shot of. Let's go with her idea, whatever it is. Sometimes I'll be having one of them in my ear, and I'm like, don't like it one bit, and then we give it a shot, and it works.
Yeah.
So that helps you learn, like, all right, let's take some other perspectives. And
I mean, we sat here and did your thumbnail today.
And we had a couple different ideas.
He does, he gets it kind of laid out, and then we all sit there and go, no, I like to do.
Well, Lance is like, put it in the middle. I'm like, it doesn't go in the middle. And then we have to put a logo. Right. All right, it goes in the middle. It always
goes in the middle.
It always ends up working out.
Well, yeah, just that artsy background. Like, I was a counselor for like adults with developmental disabilities. Like, I was always on my own time working with people. Like, I never had to really I made my own schedule. I did my own paperwork. Where Paige just had to work in teams and did corporate things. So I was trying to work together. Then I was like, let's just do whatever. She's like, it doesn't work.
No, we don't just do whatever.
Yeah, she's like, we have to have structure. So, but it does just balance each other out. We just had to find ways to really listen to each other, and that did come from exposing our insecurities. Like, there were things I didn't know that Paige was insecure about, and vice versa, like for me, and we had to be very vulnerable and be like, when you say this, it like really hurts me, so is there a way that we can like talk about this without it like hitting this sore spot for me?
Yep.
And like working through those things. But it really does help when you find like the right language just to talk about something, and we both appreciate different ways of like approaching a situation, and so it is just a lot about learning about each other, which is interesting.
Well, there's two things as well. Never assume anything and never take anything personal.
Yeah.
You know,
equally
if you guys
are
are
important. Life, if you can do that,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Yeah, you're winning if you can not take anything personal. Yeah. That's for sure.
So you've been in business a year?
So just about. We're gonna hit our 1 year mark on 1 year since we launched the website on June 8th.
And the goals that you had when you put together the goals initially, how have you stacked up?
Launch jerseys. I would say I'm really proud of what we've done and what we've been able to accomplish. I think, all things considered, with the pandemic and finding resources and people who are willing to help a small business that we might not meet their normal minimum order quantities. So for what we have, I think we've done incredible. Super stoked. Yeah, I think we've crushed it, and it's we don't. Yeah, I get we're bad business people in the sense that like our goals were very just let's launch our jersey. Like let's just get these jerseys launched. Let's get some pants out. And then part of it too is being okay with delays, being okay with things that are out of our control, and not, instead of getting upset or letting it affect us, if something is, our pants are 6 months behind, and it's like there's literally nothing we can do about it. So let's just, what can we do? What else can we focus on? How can we pivot the business for a little bit?
Well, do you do other things like T-shirts and hats and things like that?
Yeah. So we have sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats, koozies, big hit. The koozies are a big hit. Koozies, stickers. We have our jerseys. So we have a lot of product. Our warehouse is overflowing at this point. We are running out of room. So, yeah, I think we haven't hit every goal, but I would say and I'm the first person. I'm really hard on myself. I'm really hard on us and our business, just because I'm just looking for how we can do better, and so I'd probably be the first to say that I'm like, we missed a couple marks, and we're not where I'd want to be. But then we also were reminded by a business advisor and friend that we've done a lot of really incredible things, and we're less than a year into the business. So,
well, you can talk about your son better than I can, but Lance has been in this complex for a little while. His son, Thrash and Supply, actually, when I first started coming to this complex, I'd seen you before, but Lance had a table in your shop over there, and he was really just selling T-shirts and maybe some aftermarket exhaust.
Right. Couple hats. And that was 7 years ago, or 8 years ago, roughly. 8, I think 8.
And now he's bulging at the seams. He's running out of space. He's has a beautiful business that he's run.
I think he's in 6 warehouses over here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just exploded. And I think I took you over there to show you, like, there's this, it can happen.
Yeah.
And that drive and that passion, and as you expand your product line.
Sorry, it's just going to be so emotional.
I think it's the beer you brought us.
So choked up.
I'm good now.
I'm good, thank you.
But you can speak to it a little bit. I mean, it's just as a father.
Yeah, I mean, it started.
Super proud of him.
Yeah, I think the passion part of it and doing things that he loved turned into now things that he hates. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, sometimes that's how it works.
Yeah.
But
so it's the energy, the money, the time, getting with the right people. I mean, it takes people, you know.
Honestly, that has. I mean, even meeting Galen at the event, and here we are. We've learned that it's people, 100%, and it's not necessarily who you. I think there's all this pressure around like who you know, and we do laugh because the community. Y'all love to name drop. Everyone loves to name drop, especially in the off-road, the moto community, and it's so funny to us because every event we go to,
someone name drops.
Oh, people come up to our booth and just start rattling off names, and we're like, so you want to buy a shirt? Or, and it's not that we don't care. I mean, it's
cool.
It's super cool, but at the same time, we didn't grow up in the racing world. We didn't grow up being connected to all of these, you know, different people. And so for us, like, when people are name dropping, I'm like, that's really awesome, but at the same time, they're just a person too. And we have friends who know people, and they've been like, well, do you want us to introduce you, and blah blah blah. And you know, we've talked about it, thought about it, and I'm like, is it going to be impactful to us right now? Like, how is it going to help our business, and how is it going to help us? Or is it literally just to say, oh, we know so and so? And
so she's saying they don't know us.
No, they knew us.
Now you do.
Now we know.
How long have you guys been riding?
So well, this will give away to my age. I've been riding I learned about 20 years ago. I was like 10.
So you both have ridden a lot.
20.
Don't do that.
So you've ridden. How about injuries?
Oh, I literally just got a boo-boo on Saturday.
Oh, you did.
I'm talking about broken bones.
Oh, I've never broke anything
Really?
riding.
You better
Awesome.
Never.
You both just did. That's good.
Yeah. Definitely some big falls, a couple
Knockouts.
concussions.
Yeah.
Had to be towed back.
I think I fractured a rib, maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, no. Oh, who knows if that's true? We didn't go to the hospital after. So.
Yeah.
It just
Dad's
hurts
"You're
like hell.
fine."
Yeah.
Did it
Just
hurt for a
hurts
month
like
or
hell.
so?
You know that,
Yeah,
don't you,
every
bud?
time I coughed for like a month, it was brutal.
Yeah, that's either a bruise or a fracture.
Yeah.
I spilled in the sand in front of him on the Pan Americas, and the distance between us could have been a little bigger. And he was a nice guy, didn't want to run me over, so he like ran over my bike, sent him flying, landed straight on his chest. I'm sitting there, I already got a bunch of hardware in my right leg, and I'm like, snapped it again, and then I got up and it was fine. And he was like, and for the whole trip, and probably 8 weeks after,
No, maybe
10,
11.
11 weeks, he was just dying, like couldn't even breathe. Nothing broken that we knew of.
I felt
but
it go pop,
fractured
pop, pop.
rib or something.
So I thought, gone. And then the next day, he takes a tumble and breaks his leg.
Fib and tib.
Snapped.
It was an eventful trip. Thanks, Randy.
For those who was watching, if you
I'm
haven't
not
watched the
going to ride on
video,
ice anymore.
yeah.
I did
Don't
something
recommend.
similar skiing on ice, that I cut everyone off in the trees, hit some icy moguls, fell, and then there was like 9 people behind me, ran over me, and
Ouch.
we all dogpiled on top of each other, and then I got up, and when I'm in serious pain, like real pain, I laugh. I'm crying, but I'm laughing.
Right.
And so my mom was like, oh no, where is it? Because I'm just like busting up laughing, and she's like, where is it? And we pull my glove off, and my thumb was just, and we went to the ER. It was like a 9-hour wait. So Dad was like, you're fine. It's fine. It's not broken. You're fine. Popsicle stick, some
You're
tape.
fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
She was like, we're not sitting here for 9 hours. So yeah, I had a popsicle stick and some tape on my thumb for like 4 days.
I like your dad.
And then we finally went back. When we got back home, I was like, Mom, something is wrong with my thumb. So she snuck me out of school, like didn't tell my dad, took me out of school, took me to the doctor, and he's like, oh, we're doing surgery tomorrow.
Really?
Like, this needs, and so I had full...
Dad's like, I could have gone in there with a nail.
like, full pin in my hand, stitches, like,
Okay, so you
everything.
have had a broken bone.
Oh, I've had broken bones.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've never broken a bone. Not
Yeah.
going to again.
I've broken bones, just not from riding dirt bikes. So,
Okay.
I broke my thumb skiing, broke these 3 fingers playing kick the can.
Very intense
Very
neighborhood
intense
game.
neighborhood game. I had surgery on this knee after playing flag football, powder puff. So, yeah, I've had surgeries and whatnot, just never from
dirt bikes,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
We do like to call Paige Calamity Jane, because as tough as you are, you're always the one to get injured.
I'm always the one to get injured.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's just, it's part of it.
So is it just dirt bikes, or are you side by side? What's the...
We used to have a little dune buggy. So when we were...
And we used to have quads.
We used to have quads. So when we first learned how to ride, I was in middle school, I think, around there somewhere, and we came
When
home...
you were first learning to ride?
Yeah. Or no.
Okay,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Elementary school... Late
Oh.
elementary school. Whatever.
You were
Semantics.
10, yeah.
If you were 10, it was probably late elementary.
Late elementary school.
Okay.
Someone else was driving us home from school, so I was not driving. But we drive by our house, and our garage was open, and there was 2 dirt bikes sitting in the garage, and we didn't even know what they were. We were like, what?
Yeah.
What are those? What? And we get out of the car and Dad's all proud, and he's like, girls, you're going to learn how to ride dirt bikes. And we were like, okay, I don't know what that means. And then this, literally, I think it was 30 minutes later, this semi-truck pulls up in front of our house, and we're like,
what is
what is this dirt biking sport you speak of? And this giant crate gets dropped off, and it's a go-kart. I guess that's what you call it. It was a 2-seater go-kart, but it had a roll cage on it.
For pavement.
No, dirt. But
really?
But it looked like a go-kart.
Yeah.
But 2 seats. And then it had a roll cage on it.
It did have a roll cage. We put that roll cage to use.
And so we drove around that for a while. Definitely ran it through some barbed wire at Gorman a couple times. And then we had a couple quads that we just sold because no one rides them anymore because your body just gets wrecked.
Right.
It's just not fun anymore. So we're strictly
strictly
bikes at this time. Yeah. Our dad's.
How often do you get out and ride?
Lately, it feels like every other weekend.
It comes and goes. There'll be
you got to go out and get the shots with your gear on.
We have to go out and get the shots.
We have to get the content.
Yeah.
So,
we're like, we're working.
Yeah.
Quiet on the set.
But it kind of goes, sometimes it feels like we don't get to ride at all because our friends will go riding and we're like, we have an event or something going on, so it'll feel like we don't, and then there'll be a month where it's like, we have a photo show in the desert, and then we have to get more content, and then
we're going camping, and
so it just kind of comes and goes, but we get out fairly often, a
few times a month,
during season.
Josh has been out, he has a group that he goes out to, where do you head out?
For the dirt?
Yeah.
Dove Springs, Ridgecrest.
Don't tell them. I don't want them to know where to go.
right. Mostly Dove Springs and Ridgecrest and sections of what do you call it? The PCT, Pacific Crest Trail. Some of those sections going down. Pinnacles, just all the basic. I'm not quite stooping to California City, but some of those spots.
Did you say
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
Well, in all fairness, Cal City is one of the few places that you can go and shoot
legally. Photos.
Sure, you shoot that too.
Gotcha.
But shoot photos without a permit or anything else.
We don't have to.
There's probably about 4,000 permits we should have pulled for our videos, huh? That's true though. I feel you. There's good stuff. I just haven't spent a ton of time out there.
If you
what?
If you shoot, technically, if you shoot in a California state park, you have to have permits and a ranger escort.
What if someone did a drone in a national park?
I don't know the logistics of that.
Hypothetically,
speaking,
it was CGI.
Hypothetically, we know this guy.
Theoretically,
he's a little sketchy.
Yes,
but all of a sudden he'll pop up.
Gilbert. Have we ridden Beartooth Pass?
Yes. I don't know if you have.
No.
Lance and I have.
Okay. Well, we got a couple questions on it.
Go for it. Ask.
No, he said 2LaneLIVE should think about the Beartooth Highway in Montana. And then I asked Lance, different Lance, where are you from, Lance? Because he said he wanted to ride. And I said, I'm two tall boys, dude. Leave me alone. Because he asked me a couple times.
They're getting connected.
We're getting connected.
It's actually really cool to see what's happened with these. We've gone from these lives that were 15-minute, our nose up the camera, moving stuff around, to having guests come in and talk, and then all of a sudden you start to see this community build over here that they're talking with each other in the chats. It's been really interesting to see.
That's what 2LaneLIVE's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Whoa.
That's what McRae's all about.
Right.
I like that.
McRae is your last name?
Yeah, so our last name is McReynolds, and we've always I don't know why, we've always shortened it to McRae, just in...
Yeah.
Not like we tell people our last name is McRae, but just Paige McRae, Kay McRae, it all kind of flowed, and whenever... And we've known for years. We've
always just joked about starting a business. We're like, if we did, it'd be McRae. So this whole thing was kind of like,
it all started as
what
a
if
joke.
we made jerseys? All of a sudden we have jerseys. We're like, oh, not joking anymore.
Not joking.
That's cool.
So what's the difference in the jersey? Because I noticed some snaps.
There are some snaps.
So if you have too many beers, you can bust open one of these babies.
Too many?
And make some room.
Yeah.
If you eat too much dinner. So one of the big things for us was that we were always trying to pull our jersey over our protective gear.
Right.
And they'd always get stuck on the back, and then you'd literally be like, help! And
Like Quasimodo.
yeah, and so it'd be like the two of us, and if we're like, what if one of us isn't around, or if you're, I don't know if we'd ever ride solo, but it just kind of was like, how can we
Make it easier.
How can we get rid of that, where someone could just pull the jersey open?
And the men's jerseys are longer as well, so it really like bunch up, and you're trying to get all this material over. So we thought of the snaps, and we're like, we should also just crop
Shorten them.
so they're actually like fit to a woman. They're not cropped, but they're
shorter,
much shorter
yeah.
than the men's
And it
jerseys.
also, but it works because our pants are a little bit more higher waisted than most pants, so less material to tuck in, so you don't have like a bunch, because the men's jerseys on us like go down to our knees.
Right.
Yeah, at least.
But yeah, so
thigh.
we have some snaps. So open up the jersey.
So easier to put on.
Easier
Yes.
to put on
and to take off.
And to take off. And we also tailored the sides slightly just
Cut
to
them
be a
in
little bit more
yeah.
fitted to a woman's natural curve. So less boxy. So the snaps just kind of help
Right.
fit that on. That is a huge, that was a big differentiator for us, shortening the hem. And then the designs. The designs were honestly like one of the biggest drivers for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this material. It's super
Yeah.
soft, breathable.
What is it?
It's a 100% poly mesh. So, and I don't think that that's anything original. I think a lot of people use poly mesh. So I don't necessarily consider that to be like a game changer,
Right.
but the designs of the jerseys are what,
Yeah,
we just
cut.
the cut. Yeah, we wanted something where like, just because we're out in the desert getting dirty, I don't want to look or feel less feminine. I want to continue to be stylish. I don't want to look like I'm wearing something that was designed by men
Right.
Right.
as an afterthought.
That's cool. I mean, back in the day, it was cotton jerseys, sweat and dirt.
Back,
Just-
back in the
That
day,
sounds-
it was like Levi's and
Right.
no helmets and a T-shirt.
Right.
Stupid.
But the new materials
Stupid.
and the shirts, I mean, I know that Lance wore a jersey to Sturgis one year
Yeah.
just because when it's 110 and you're out ripping down the highway, your
Yeah.
shirt gets sweaty and then it gets big and then heavy. But with the
yeah.
new materials, it's like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these babies. So like you can feel the air
Yeah.
flowing through, and it's especially on a hotter day, because we were just riding on Saturday, and it was so hot. And I mean it was only 85, but 85 in the Mojave Desert feels like
Right.
110, and especially then when you're
Especially at like 2:00, you're like, oh my god.
sitting in gear on a bike on the top of a mountain, it's brutal. And so, but then you start riding and you just feel the airflow going through it. It doesn't stretch out
Right.
with the sweat. It just very lightly absorbs it, and then it just
Wicks it.
wicks it away.
Yeah.
And it's so comfortable. So, yeah,
Mhm.
that was.
So is it a goal to drop different designs, like 2 or 3 a year, keep the originals out? What are your thoughts there?
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, we definitely want to get youth kits out. So
Yeah.
we want to, because that's a huge, I think, an even bigger hole in the industry than women's kits, because at least there are women's kits available. I haven't seen many young girl kits available. So that's
Yeah.
a huge push for us that we want to
Mhm.
get out there. And every time we come, they're like, so are you going to make more youth stuff? We're like, we're working on it. So that's our next step. By the end of next year, we plan to have youth kits for young girls. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how many a year, but we plan to drop, like, we want everyone to have options, like, different styles. Even our styles are very different. That's kind of why we were going to do, like, we thought about doing, like, a Paige and a Kelly line.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they blend. I don't know if we'll actually, like, divide it but we definitely, like, want to provide enough styles for everyone to choose from. And we just live by, like, the look good, feel good. Like,
Right.
when you put on, like, an outfit that you feel like represents you, you're like, ooh, I'm feeling good. I'm going to show up to this, like, party or whatever feeling good. And that's what we want to bring to the desert. You just have more confidence when you feel like you're wearing something that represents you. And hopefully, like, down the line, we'll have a bigger team with also, like, diverse thinking and offer different designs that we might not be able, that, like you said, like, maybe we don't think it's a design we would wear, but someone else would love
Right.
it.
Right.
Just offer a bunch of different options. 2 or 3 a year sounds good, sure.
Yeah,
We'll go with that.
that sounds great.
I think you could have a P and a K series.
Right?
That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
You know?
We
Yeah.
talked about making it a little bit of a competition. Like, are you racing for Team Paige or Team Kelly?
Like
Yeah.
a left Twix, right Twix
type deal.
Yeah.
But I think we wanted to hit the branding on the head with that one before we launch something
For
like that.
sure.
But I think
Yeah.
maybe once we have a few more options, like if we drop a couple more lines, then we could play with something like that, and also give people an opportunity to get to know us more and
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
pick their team.
They'll like that.
team
But it's
leader.
like in the moto industry, it's like every 3-4 months there's new jerseys, new gears, new pants, everything's coming out. You got, I got to get the latest stuff,
I mean, when I went to with Randy to Alpine Stars headquarters, they had the air vests.
Yeah.
They had all this new technology that they were showing that I've never seen, just mind blowing. What I will say about the outfits, it's dirt, stuff happens. You got to think. If you go down, that's the outfit you're wearing to the hospital. You want to look good, so wear that jersey that looks good. Right?
Ready.
True that.
Hey, while you're over there, any comments or questions?
Well, we do have the motorcycle cannonball, aka Jason, who gave us
Jason,
that
what's
flag
going on?
amongst other
Right here.
things.
Very nice.
He was
We
in the
got
studio a few weeks
He
ago.
was.
He runs the Cannonball Run across the country,
Wow.
and your bike, it's a Harley run, can't be older than
1930s and
1930.
older, depending
Can't
on
be
the class.
older?
1930 and younger.
Yeah, they got to be really old bikes.
As old as
Before
1930.
1930,
Yes.
older.
So 19.
Older than
yeah.
1930.
Yeah, 1930.
That's 90 years
and
old. Older, 100 years,
younger.
1920. Agree to disagree, but
Older than a 1930.
indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
We got Shags, who in 70 days is going to leave with his dog from New York with his Harley, ride it all the way out here, go on a gnarly tour. All these people, good people.
Riding with Shags.
Yeah, riding with Shags. I
Awesome.
lost track of the comments, but we're doing good.
Hey, good job.
What do you pay this guy?
Cheers, Mark.
He's the only one making money.
Maybe that double IPA is getting to him. He's like, I don't know what the comments
I'm
are,
on number
but-
2. It's all right.
Have you guys ever ridden street bikes?
He just
That
moved
was
to
another
his-
comment.
No. So I've been on a street bike. We have recently been going to a couple different motorcycle street events,
We want them
and
so
now we
bad.
want street bikes really
Yeah.
bad.
Like
So-
getting on Harleys?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely that. It wasn't part. That wasn't part of the plan.
I mean, you'll have 2 lines of things going, which could be really good.
Yeah, we all,
Yeah.
that's on top of we want to start a fishing line,
Oh,
a
yeah.
snow line, a water line.
I know, at first when you're like, oh, is motocross the only thing you do? I'm like, oh my gosh, fishing, and then I realized you're talking off-road. I was like, oh. Yeah. Motocross.
But yeah, would love to. So hypothetically speaking, I know someone who has a dirt bike that got to ride it on the street, and that was kind of my first taste of, hypothetically if it was me, that was my first taste of riding a bike on the street, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
is fun.
We would love to do there's our neighbor, she rides what bike does she ride?
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
She rides a street bike, but she's even said that she feels like there's a lack of especially color, a lot of things are neutral colors for street apparel. She's like, I would love a fun color jacket or something, and I think that's slowly coming about. She's like, yeah, I would appreciate more options. And that's something we said that we would be interested in, but because we're not in that industry, we don't know if we could do it justice if we didn't have a team with women who do ride that could give us the insight necessary to make the appropriate clothing and make it stylish. Because if we just tried with the knowledge we have now, we wouldn't do it justice. So I feel like we could do that, but it'd have to be down the line when we had people on our team who had that knowledge.
But for me, it sounds like you guys, McRae outdoor, right? Because you do fish.
That sounds
you do,
good.
you can bring that whole different vibe into it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be like a Bass Pro Shop,
Right.
but you're gonna walk into a butterfly cage.
I love it.
And it's just
Right?
gonna
Well,
be
McRae will be our parent company, and then we'll have McRae Motocross, McRae.
There you go.
We won't say the names yet. We don't
Yeah.
want anyone to take them, but we'll have different lines of clothing, and we hope to be the Bass Pro Shop for women. Honestly.
That's a great goal.
The ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And we literally, oh sorry to cut you off, but
Oh,
we
that's
literally, this proves why we're doing it. We just went to a Bass Pro Shop.
It was so disappointing.
We went to a
I was
Bass
so
Pro Shop
frustrated.
after an event, or before an
Yes.
event, whatever, 2 months ago, to look for fishing pants for Kelly.
Yes.
And we're looking around, we're like, where's the women's section? And finally, I'm like, let's just ask someone. We go up to one of the ladies working there, asked her where the women's fishing section is, and she goes, oh, well, we have those pants.
And we're like, that's not fishing.
But you want to
pants.
be the Bass Pro Shops for women.
Yes.
not for men.
Not for men.
No, not
Right?
everyone.
Because
asks.
everyone
No.
has men's clothing and
I
lines.
mean, we might have some men things down the line because we even have unisex clothing now, and we want to continue unisex clothing further on, and like specifically men's stuff. And a lot of our friends were like, "I like your guys' style. Like, I want a woman to design my clothes with the same thoughtfulness."
Right.
I'm like, we're here for it, but definitely like men already have a lot of options, so it benefits us. We need to
Right.
like target the women. Like it's their time. It's their time to look cool, feel good.
Our time.
Now, do you guys hunt? Do you fish? I know you fish, but do you hunt?
We don't.
I don't hunt. Although one time I did shoot a lizard off a log with a BB gun with precise accuracy, and I was really sad.
Were you mortified?
I was.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna hit it, and the little thing. I was like.
Then you're like, oh
You just saw
no.
him fly up in the air. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person. So we do shoot, like we like to go shooting. Again, our dad was raised to never hunt anything that you're not going to eat. And so same for us, like we've just never, well, no, I mean, we just never like had the opportunity to really hunt, but I also I don't like to eat game as it is. Like I don't enjoy a nice venison. So,
Right.
So you didn't get that at the Bass Pro Shop?
So yeah, but we like to go shooting. Kelly likes to fish. I do not.
Paige makes the sushi, so she does the actual important
So what we
part.
do is Kelly goes ocean fishing every year with her dad, and like she shows up all the boys. She won't talk herself up. I will. What?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Kelly gets like one of the, what do you call it?
The jackpot.
Yeah. Every year. And all the guys.
I got it 1 year.
Okay, but then last
No,
year.
but every year.
Not every year.
Last year, the guy was like, "You want to have a fish off?" And Kelly's like,
Oh,
"I don't
yeah.
think you want to do that." I like how I'm telling the story. I wasn't even there. It's fine.
Tell it.
And he's like, "Okay, whoever, like, what do you think? Or, like, whoever catches the most fish,
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
whoever
the-
catches the most fish in the next round, like the next round of like hits,
like, the loser owes
the other person
something,
a beer.
whatever."
We're like, great.
So that ends. Kelly comes up to Kelly. He's like, "So how many fish did you catch?"
Well, he was like, I got 4 that round. How many did you get? I was like, 13. I was like, I think you owe me a beer.
Crushed him.
Crushed him. So yeah, Kelly goes fishing, and then I make all the sushi, and we have sushi parties at our house during the summer. So yeah, so Kelly's the fisher. I do not like fishing.
So we both wakeboard. Yeah, no shit. We both wakeboard, hike, you sky ski. I
Sky
sky
ski.
ski, wake surf. What are the? We ski snowboard.
Sky ski. What's
Is that like the airfoil?
like an air chair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her and
Oh.
dad do that.
So we have a bet right now because he has been riding a lot longer than I have. But I'm very quickly getting almost as good as he's still pretty good. But the bet is if I land a flip before he does, I get $1,000.
Ooh.
And the bet has been running for years.
We're gonna need you to hit that bet.
And
Do a
he's getting-
kickflip.
Yeah, put it right in the business.
And,
Put it right in.
he's getting scared because that bet started when I accidentally, was just trying to get up and it flipped, and now I've actually, I get up, I can jump, and this last lake trip, I tried my first
You almost
backflip.
hit it, yeah.
And I was 3/4 of the way there, and I saw his eyes, he was getting scared.
Well, Dad's turning around to get her, and he's like, I gotta pull her way faster. She's getting a little too good.
So yeah, just anything
Yeah,
out.
he can't be the captain while you're betting him.
Well, in all fairness, I drive him.
Oh,
No,
you
I
do?
keep an eye on him. I'm sitting there watching him like, don't you mess her up.
There you go.
This is my little chihuahua.
Yeah.
If anyone gets too wild, I sit Kelly on
I
it.
know. Everyone thinks I'm a gentle soul until you say something to Paige. I'm like, what'd you say to my sister? It's every time cooked out.
So if someone wanted to buy your stuff right now, could they go to your
Please
website?
do it.
What is your website?
Our website is www.mcraymx.com.
That's MCREYMX.
M as in Mary.
And it's in the
And
description.
what are your Instagrams?
What's our Instagram?
Oh, at McRae
_MX.
MX.
Okay.
I thought you were asking my personal. I'm like,
And do you want your personal out there or no?
you can
Oh,
find
I
it.
don't care.
Oh, go.
Oh. Let's just pay. The difference in our personalities. I'm like, oh, sure, I don't care. Mine's at Paige McRae.
Mine's at K McRae with two
Two
Y's
Ys.
at the end.
Two
Aha.
eyes.
Two Y's. That's how she keeps people. Like, she's like, if you don't know to put 2 Y's,
Right.
You don't know. You
don't
don't
know.
know. You know.
What is it? K. I'm typing it out for all these people.
K
K-A-Y?
K McRae with 2 Y's.
Like spelled out K-A-Y?
K.
Just the letter?
No, just letter K.
Okay.
Letter K.
Underscore.
Kim McRae.
Kim McRae Kardashian.
2 Y's or 3 Y's?
2.
Dunzo.
Not the 3 Y's. That's not me.
Too much.
Uh-oh. So this passion you have, is the next step, like you were saying, is youth kind of a passionate piece for you?
Yeah.
Because you guys grew up in that, right?
Yeah, and I think what we've realized through this journey is that a lot of women don't feel like off-roading, motorsports, motocross. It's very intimidating. I mean, honestly, for us, we're intimidated sometimes.
Still intimidated.
And,
yeah.
So we've had a lot of women come up to us and say, "I've always wanted to ride. I've always wanted to learn. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do." It's not a women's sport. It's not a female sport, and so we figure like, okay, we're gonna start to change the industry by creating women's gear. But then why not? Let's take it a couple steps further. Let's start the change at a young age.
The youth.
Yeah, and we envision, a family walking into a power sports store and they're, stereotypically they're shopping for the son or the dad or whatever else, but a little girl sees our butterfly in the corner, and this happens at events where families will come up.
Little girls will run to our tent and
they'll see the butterfly, and the mom, the dad, whoever will be like, they saw the butterfly and we had to come over and check it out. And so applying that to a store where she now realizes like there is something for me, that I can be a part of this. This isn't just a man's sport, like it's not scary. That's a big passion for us, and something that we really want to make sure that we put a lot of time and attention and focus towards.
What about a place you can put numbers on the back of the jersey? You can put sponsors. You can do whatever you want in these, right?
Not yet, but soon. So we've in the process of figuring out who the right people to work with are. We've had some hurdles, some obstacles, but we did just find a printer who is now making all of our jerseys for us, and they can do customized name and number on the back, logos down the arms. I honestly don't know. We'll see. We're
kind of against the covered in logos because that's what's out right now.
Right.
And I feel like that's a part of that intimidation factor is you're wearing other people's names, and so like at least we can recognize where I'm like I'm not good enough. Like this doesn't represent where I'm at in the sport.
Unless it's a girl that's going to start racing, but she wants to wear your stuff.
Yeah, if she's getting sponsored, then absolutely. But I think for us just to start making jerseys where we're like all these sponsor logos are up the arm, and I think that goes back to us just wanting to be authentic and true to who we are. Like we never try to make it sound like we're cooler than we are. Like we, it's like, I mean, I don't know, sometimes. No, just kidding. But no, I mean, because people ask us all the time, like, what different parts on our bike are and what do we, like, doing oil changes and just, like, all this stuff. And I'm the first to admit, like, my knowledge, I'm just not a mechanic. Like, that's not my skill set.
Like, slightly below average knowledge. It's like, our dad does all that for us, and we're very fortunate, and that's just not where our passion is. Like, we're not going to be doing that for other people. Well, maybe, but
I'm not setting up a pit crew.
Exactly,
and I'm going to be the one in charge of changing your tires and changing your
oil,
oil,
water, and orange slices as you drive by.
And the same with racing. Like we don't race. We didn't grow up racing. We love going to races. We love watching and being a part of it. And we've talked about doing some more desert races coming up. But now we work at all. Now we have a booth at all of them. We have to work at all of them, so it's a little bit hard. But we just don't want to pretend to be anything that we're not. And so staying true to that. But I think with that being said, and I know this is something that we had talked about, was not closing ourselves off to other opportunities. So finding that balance where it's still our brand and it's who we are and it's what we want to do, but it's also allowing other people to wear our stuff and do what they want to do.
Right.
And if that means putting numbers and their name on the jersey or some different sponsors, then we hope to be able to support that in the very, very near future.
It's something our butterfly really, like, we want people to look at our butterfly and remember, like, oh yeah, I can be authentic, I can be limitless. Like, these are words that we really put into our marketing because it's what we believe in, and that doesn't always mean that they have to do what we do. Like, we just hope someone can wear a McRae apparel, like, someone bought a jersey to ride horses. Like Paige and I, we've rode horses, but we don't ride. But she was like, I feel so good in this jersey. Even though we don't do that sport, she's being her authentic self, like feeling good in our gear. Like, that's really what we're about. So we want to try and expand as much as we can to help, like, any woman just, like, live that limitless lifestyle, do whatever it is she wants to do and feel like she's capable of it, whatever it is, even if we don't do it.
Well, my son and I rode dirt, and I didn't even think about it with my daughter. But
our dad didn't have a choice. He only,
had 2
daughters.
He told me for the second one, and I came out a girl, and he was like, well, I'm just going to raise them like boys.
But I did put her on quads, and we had a blast with that. But, you know, you guys have lived through where the clothing, you love being out, but the clothing wasn't, you know, functional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's amazing to me in this day and age that there's still not more of it. So, and I commend that. And I do think you should start with the youth as well. I mean, that's a group that's going to continue to grow and be loyal to a brand, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do, like, tying back to what we said before, we understand that our parents are phenomenal. Like, they really are. And we wouldn't be who we are without them. We grew up very, I would say, in an unconventional way, where there was no limits to what we could or could not do. Like, our parents were just there for us. They took us to whatever we needed to go.
The only limit was, like, my curfew.
Yeah.
But she busted you, apparently.
but I was the policeman
multiple times.
Yeah. Well, you would just love me the way I wanted to be loved. I wouldn't have told on you. But we understand, like, that is something we experience that not everyone has had. Some people do kind of get put in a box, even if it's accidentally, just thinking, like, if you do have 2 kids and one's a daughter and one's a son, you're probably thinking most likely, like, okay, she'll love to play with dogs.
Right.
He would love a motorcycle. And which is understandable. Sometimes it does work out that way, but we hope that our brand, too, offering youth kids, can open that door where if they do desire something differently, they can have that lifestyle. Like, we can bring our parents' parenting into the world of extreme sports, and people can just do what they want to do.
And we'll close here in a few seconds or minutes, but from my perspective, to see the two of you do this and put your blood, sweat, tears, passion behind it, I mean, you think about the movement you could be part of and making history and change. And that's bigger than both of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Feels very surreal.
Yeah. And it's the same with us on the, not to compare the two, but our goal was to start inspiring people to get out and see this country. And we did it in arguably a year that was probably the worst year to ever do it. But
because we weren't afraid to travel.
Right, but at the same time, it kind of kick-started us because people were in lockdown.
And they're like,
and now it's completely flipped on us, and people tell us all the time that they just started writing, they went out and traveled. We've had people today even talking about, hey, we're doing this route. You heard them on the piece Josh read there, and it's the inspiration is now coming back to us so that we want to do more, you know, and
ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see our walls and our things that we want to give back, you know, to people that support us and that support the country and that support, you know, our lifestyle. You know, our freedom isn't free.
No.
And it's you know, it's important to us, but I'm pretty proud of you guys, and I've only this is our third time to meet, but
thank you.
I think you guys are going to do great. He's like I said, run his own business for 30 years, and I think you probably see a little drive and desire in them you had.
You can tell, you know, for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and just to add on to that, I think giving back is something that's really important to us, and we hope to continue to inspire people to give back to their communities, and so we've committed that every year we're going to donate at least 10% of our proceeds to a nonprofit organization. We both volunteer in different ways for our community, and that's something that we've been doing since like I think college. That was
even
being involved in philanthropy and just being good people. Just be good people.
Yeah.
Treat others well. Do good things. Like run.
Because, like you said, we're not anything without other people. We can't be a successful business without other people, and it's just huge. Like we feel very passionately about, and also like sitting around on your phone is one way to spend your time, but then going and doing something for someone else it just means so much more.
Yes.
You can bring your phone with you, of course. But, you know, it feels just really good, and that was something off the bat. Like when we were first talking about this business, like before even a brand creator got involved, we were like, this has to be bigger than us. Like
Right.
we're not going to be successful if it's about the product, and
If it's about revenue, if it's
Yeah.
about us, if it's about the product, we're not going to succeed. Like
Yeah.
maybe we will, maybe for 5 years, 8 years, and then, but without a something meatier at the root of it, we're not going to be as big as we want this to be, or
yeah, and
bigger than we want it, bigger than we could imagine it to be.
Yeah. Our most successful moments, like what felt like the biggest successes for us, like we've had weekends where we made, like financially did very well. And we were just like, sweet. And that feels good. But then there's those moments like that one little girl that was like squeezing her butterfly bag and was like, I want to ride a dirt bike, and like all excited. Like it's moments like that where you're like, wow, we really,
For sure.
we could be creating, or we're on the shoulders of other women. Like, of course, we're not starting a movement. We're a part of that ripple effect. Like, we're an outer ring in that, and we're just continuing the ripple. But to see that, and like, even there's this one mom who pointed out our poster, was like, see, you can ride dirt bikes too. There's other girls that do it. Like, it's those little moments that honestly mean more than anything. And the more those build up, the more that our brand does become something more than just its product. And yeah,
That's how you build a
pretty
substantial brand.
yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, you've done great so far. It was fun
Thank you.
meeting you at the event.
Yes.
And now you can name drop us.
What's the next
that was the whole
event?
point of this.
Next event, we're actually leaving tomorrow. We're going to Orange County for the Sand Sports Super Swap.
Sand sports.
But
There you go.
What's your first motocross at track event?
Yes, our first ever track event is going to be at Hangtown MX in Sacramento for the AMA Pro Motocross race on June 4th.
Boom! There you can go up there and
So
see them.
they're not going to be at fast, live fast,
Live
rally,
Fast.
but
Right.
they will be, at their first motocross track appearance.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Pretty cool.
You'll have
Pro
a booth
event.
and all.
We'll have a booth and all.
Booth and all.
Nice.
Go see them.
Come see us.
So,
Yes.
what do they need to do?
Well, their links are all embedded down below in there, so check that out. Follow them, tell your friends about them. But on our side, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our website. You know you got to do it.
Do it.
Oh, or you're going to get fired.
Yes,
You
yes.
fired.
We need to go home
We've
and
already
subscribe.
fired him. Though. Hit the bell, comment. We want to thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
got
for
great
having
parents. We appreciate that because we love the attitude in the youth when we see this kind of,
Did you
entrepreneurialism.
say we're youth?
Youth.
My
You're. I
skincare
mean,
routine
when
is
compared to
always-
us, yeah, we're sage.
So
Right.
we'll have them back down the road, and
Yes,
we
we
can
will.
see where they are at that point.
Absolutely.
So
Pressure's on.
yeah,
We
pressure's
got
on.
only 2 years left.
Well, thank you again for having us. We really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Had fun today.
So we do 3, 2, 1, and then we say "see you down the road," and we throw a finger.
Ooh.
Are you down with that?
Yeah.
I got a license
See
for
it.
this.
See you down the road.
You can do a double.
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna do.
Go gangster. There you go. So 3, 2, 1. See you
Down the road.
Down the road.
And
Look at you.